I was trying not to be late. That's not Big Al's fault. That's my fault. And I was definitely not trying to be on CP time, y'all. But at least in this case, dang, I can't even do a good acronym for CP time right now. Shoot. That's how tired I was, and I had to actually put on some makeup so I look like,
Yeah. So
slightly rested.
you just had some other things to attend to real quick.
I've been working, so I needed to get that little 30-minute nap in.
I feel that. Yeah. What do you do for work?
Um, my day job is in HR
Okay.
in pharma,
Okay.
and my other day job is at a well-known fitness place, and then there's this stuff, and there's voiceovers. Then there's time to schedule naps.
Yes, which is important, at least daily. At least
Absolutely, absolutely, because
I freaking love I love napping. I see like my job I work from home and like the past couple months I mean like I do work, but a lot of it I'm playing a lot of video games and just chilling and it's so nice. Yeah, smoking a lot of weed. uh but now like I'm taking over a team and I'm like starting to train them, so I had to get some training and like this past like 2 weeks I'm napping every day after work. So I'm like I'm not used to working again. I got to use my brain muscles and but makes the days go by quick.
it happens like that, but at least it comes in cycles.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, at least we get time to nap and
Yeah.
time to handle business. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Now it's time to handle business for sure.
I feel like my generation was so stuck on maintaining a work-life balance, and then finding out that was a whole crock of shit.
Yeah. I'm all about just the life balance. I'm concerned about the life side. So I like that I've got a job where there's a lot of downtime because I'm not trying to dedicate my life to a company. I felt like when I was younger, I was all in for whatever company I worked for, thinking like that was going to do anything, and they don't give a fuck about you. So like I just want to do my job, do a good job, and get the fuck out of there and get my pay, and that's all I need.
I know that's right. When did it hit you though? What, like, you don't have to divulge your age. Just what year of working did it hit you where you just said these people really don't care?
Um, Probably my later 20s and even more so with my job prior to the one that I have now. I've been at this company for about 2.5 years. Honestly, I'm very happy with them. But prior to this, it was another 2 years at a company. That same thing. I was doing over, 50, 60 hours a week, really just putting in a lot of work and just not appreciated. And I was just like, what am I doing? Like I'm just a number and I'm getting the fuck out of here because now I've got the time back to myself and it's, a lot better just to be happier, have time to do comedy and pursue hobbies.
Absolutely. You're right about being big on that life balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because God knows, if you spend so much time doing things for other people, working other people's deadlines, you start missing your own people
Mm-hmm.
and your own timeline.
Yeah.
So, well, y'all, it's past 6 o'clock, and it is yet another Tuesday, and it's yet another episode of your comedy bestie with your homegirl Erica Switzer, here with the one and only Big Al Moser.
What's up, y'all?
What's going on, Big Al?
What is going on? Yeah, not too much. Excited to be here. Thank you for having me on. I feel like this is a great chance to kind of get to talk to you a little bit more and seeing you in the comedy scene here and there, but I don't feel like we've gotten to chat too much, so I'm excited to be a part of this. So thank you for having me on.
It is an absolute pleasure. I was happy that we got a chance to run into each other at the last Burbies and a couple other times. And I'm excited for the chance where we get a chance to jam together on the show.
Yes.
Lord knows I had to stop producing so many. I was on my way to producing 2 monthlies in Chicago, and I don't live in Chicago.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of driving.
Yeah, so, and I don't do that either. So there's the rub for that. But yeah, we're definitely gonna make that stage thing happen. In the meanwhile, let's give the audience a little bit of background about you and when you got started with stand up.
Okay, so I actually started about 12 years ago. Before I was 21, I was doing some comedy for about a year and a half, 2 years, but because I was not the drinking age yet, it was kind of harder to, like, I wasn't doing open mics and just somehow booking shows and honestly was doing way too much than what I was ready for. So I ended up kind of giving it up for quite some time, and for 10 years just kind of kicked myself being like, why did I stop doing that, and so I started again back in April of 23, or actually maybe in March, doesn't matter, but started back then, and at the Round Lake Mike Village Spirit Pub run by Billy Long, and never looked back. Met some really great people. Night one, I met Amy Simon that first night. Absolutely love her. But yeah, I've been able to go now and kind of understand the comedy process. Now I can actually go to open mics. I can develop my craft. I can work on my jokes. I can, network and meet with other comedians. So it's a much more fun experience this time. And I'm definitely not looking back. I don't really know where it's taking me yet. Obviously, I'd love for it to be something that pays my bills at the very least, but I just know that it makes me happy, and it's a great personal kind of therapeutic experience for me to work through a lot of things in my head to kind of make light of it or just get it out there.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So you mentioned you were kind of kicking yourself all those years of not doing it.
Oh yeah.
Um, what would you say to people who have probably had the same kind of experience? Did a few open mics and then said, maybe I need to quit, or did a few showcases and got some good reps a couple of years and then just dropped it? Like, what advice would you have to people in
I
that
would,
moment?
yeah, that's a good question. I would say definitely, if it's a passion, don't give up. I love that comedy is something that's always there, no matter what is going on in life. If you have to let it, take a back seat for a little bit because life happens, it's always going to be there. And I think that for whatever reason, I just was younger and I just felt like, okay, that was it. Like I ruined my chances and everyone knows, but like no one knows me. I was just a nobody just trying to do anything. So, if it's something that someone's given up and it's still a passion, I would definitely always say come back to it and just start it again. Just see where you're at, see how you feel about it. Again, for me personally, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I really was upset with myself, for years. I love comedy. I still watch comedy. I'm obsessed with it. I study it. I'm constantly talking and researching comedy, but I just wasn't doing it. And I felt like I had to go to the city to do it. But there's some local mics, you find local mics here and there. And then you realize it's worth going to the city. It's worth making that drive and worth going out there and meeting new people. And, comedy is a great, I think, just outside source of just companionship, socialness, friendships. And again, for me it's very therapeutic in just being able to kind of get outside of my comfort zone, and it helps me in those different ways. So I'd say, to circle back, definitely something that if it's on someone's mind, they should come back to it. Comedy's always there to come back to.
Well said. Definitely. I gotta agree. If you can't stop thinking about it, if there's something there,
Yeah.
like but that really hot person, or like even if they're not so hot, maybe they got a slightly crooked eye, but that still kind of turns you on, and you still are like, yeah, Scott's kind of hot,
Yeah.
even if he is looking at me sideways. I trying to catch both of those eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like if it stays on your mind, there's something there.
Yeah.
I find more often than not, it's best to just go after that thing.
Yeah.
You can't, would be to failure but a try, right? At least go back after that. Attempt to go back after it if you can't stop thinking about it.
For sure.
Um, since you mentioned you never stopped watching, you never stopped studying, who were some of the folks that you were watching?
Actually, I would say both Maria Bamford and Eliza Schlesinger both really got me into loving comedy. Like I knew what comedy was growing up. As a kid, I think, a lot more focused on SNL and sketch comedy. And I actually did improv classes for a short time, kind of pursuing that route in between my stand-ups. But I really got into comedy as I became an adult and kind of grew into myself as a person. Growing up a religious kid, I didn't have access to a ton of things on my own, so it was kind of limited. So once I had access to the world, I just was like, whoa, this is all out there. So, growing up as a kid, it was probably Jim Gaffigan, something family friendly. I really liked him, but definitely Maria Bamford, Eliza Schlesinger. And then as it grew, Whitney Cummings, Pete Holmes. I'm real into Pete Holmes. He's, someone I relate to with the religious upbringing. So I like all different types of styles, but I would say if I had to pick one, probably Maria is what gave me the passion back.
Nice. Nice. And I know you just mentioned Pete Holmes, and this is not random, it's adjacent. Have you met Hannah Rushline yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Why?
Hannah's got a similar background.
Okay. I'll have to look her up. Yeah, I don't think I have yet.
She's a badass. She's kind of based back and forth between here and New York. She's from Indy. But she's just a firecracker.
Yeah.
She's a lot of fun to watch here. But nah, it's an array of killers for sure. It's a diverse array of killers. I know you mentioned Gaffigan.
Yeah, he was a big one for me growing up.
Have you pursued much clean comedy? I'm just random.
I want to, like, it's just, again, a lot of my comedy is for use of my own thoughts. For me in particular, I have a religious background. I'm engaged to a woman that my family doesn't support. So it's a lot of a space to kind of work that out. I'd love to have a clean set one day, for maybe my family to come see. They've never seen my comedy or anything like that. Specifically my mom, they're just kind of innocent. Maybe my mom could come see a set one day, but right now it's my place to be me. And I don't try to be dirty, but when I look at my jokes, I'm like, oh man, I'm pretty dirty. I just kind of say what I want. I like, big turnarounds. And, I got asked to do a clean set recently and I said yes to it originally. And then I had to look at my jokes and I was like, I don't have anything that I could, I can't host with no material and I can't write 10 minutes of clean material, within 2 weeks here. So I some jokes are not the worst, but I tend to that's just the way I go.
I completely understand. I know a lot of places like aiming for PG-13 and anything under that is pretty clean.
Yeah.
I know a club owner out here, no damn, no hell, no ass. He wants your husband to be totally clean. I'm sitting here like,
yeah, it's like mine isn't even like so much swearing, but then I'm talking about strap-ons and sucking a strap. I'm like, okay, but that's still like
right.
Fuck. So
that's a little bit different than trying to barter with a guy for booty. Can I say booty at all? No.
Yeah.
Crap. All right.
Yeah.
That being said, and I know you mentioned that. Now, I have not done a lot of shows in the north suburbs. I'd like to change that. But how's the open mic scene there? Do you feel supported there, or is there any like cool open mics you recommend?
When there's open mics, they're great because it's usually kind of the same crew around here, but they just don't last too long, unfortunately. So there's been a number of them, but really the ones that stick around are the music ones, which are a little bit tougher to swing the crowd. So certain times, but if there is, sometimes Billy does a mic in Antioch at Lucky Bernie's, but I think that might be done. There was a Village in Round Lake. They all just kind of have eventually died out, unfortunately. So no real consistent solid spot. However, good news for you is I do book a show now in Antioch, so I can get you on to at least be on a show still. So we'll be in the talks about that in the future.
That sounds like fun. Yeah. I'll have a reason to be terrorizing Lake County once again.
Yes.
So you're kind of in between Chicago and Janesville?
Yeah, so that's the nice benefit is, I've got the Chicago mics available, and then I've also got, Milwaukee, Janesville. I've got all those Wisconsin mics there, Madison if I'm up for the drive. So, I've got shows that I've booked in both. I just did a show in Milwaukee 2 weekends ago. So I go back and forth kind of with the different scenes. So I do appreciate that. And then again, there is kind of a certain group of the suburb comics that when mics are happening here, we're all kind of together, and it's a different type of group that I love being around.
That's awesome. And I'm also glad that you get a chance to meet up with the Milwaukee comics because there's some
Yeah.
sharpshooters in Milwaukee.
Yeah, sure. I like the Wisconsin scene a lot.
Those folks are friendly and funny.
Yeah.
That being said, what are some of your favorite venues that you've performed at?
I would say probably favorite just because it's my hometown here in McHenry. I love doing the Vixen. I've gotten the opportunity to do it 5 times now, which I'm really thankful to Stephanie too. And but that's a great big stage. And again, I grew up in this area, so it's fun to have a lot of my friends and family come out when I'm doing that spot. I did really enjoy the Red Room. I've been to the Red Room before. There's a spot that Joseph Christopher books in Kenosha called the Final Girl Bar, and that's a completely horror themed bar. It's super, super cool, very unique stage. Looks wise, I think that's probably my favorite spot to perform at. Still waiting I haven't not yet done any of like the big major stages. So I'm really hoping to kind of get my way up to Zanies or Laugh Factory. I've yet to be on those stages, but looking forward to it.
Hey, you're close. You're getting there.
I feel like I am. I feel like it's right there. It just isn't there yet. So.
And shout out to Joseph Christopher, who runs great shows up north. I was just up there with my comedy bestie, Just Jeff, and we just did Windsor Pizza Parlor.
Oh yeah,
it's so nondescript, and then you go in there and just have a magical time with some folks that are there for the shows, appreciate the shows, appreciate the great food because food is amazing,
delicious. Yeah, it's
okay.
a great.
I usually don't even eat before a show because I wind up getting the bubble guts, and that is the absolute worst, But this place was so dope. I had an Italian beef before I went up, and I still felt great. It was just like, this is the bomb. You can't dip it? No, we just had au jus cups. Give me 2. I did it myself.
That food, it's delicious there. Yeah, I try not to eat before a show because then I get all like tired and sluggish, but that's a place where I'm like, just order something, order a pizza.
Yep, Jeff had 1 bite and was like, this is good. I finished the rest of it yesterday, but it was delicious. Of course, shout out, hi Mom. Just saying hey to my mom.
Oh, hello.
I appreciate the fact that my real life best friends and my mom is one of them, actually stopped by and watched the show. So I appreciate y'all for your love.
Very cool.
And coming in and checking me out, talking with some of my funny buddies. I appreciate y'all. So man, Final Girl Bar sounds actually really cool.
It's super dope there. I love that spot. Even like the bathrooms, like the one bathroom's like completely Jason themed. The other one I think is maybe it. It's all it's so cool there. You'll have to do a show. Yeah. Joseph puts on some great shows. I've worked with him for quite a few shows. I met him my night 1 too as well at Village Spirit, and he's been a great friend to me and a huge help throughout my comedy journey so far. It's a big shout out to him.
Big shout out to Joseph, sweetheart and a funny dude at that.
Yes.
It's cool when people produce shows and play that role. It's cool when people, produce shows and have jokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's even better when you're just freaking funny. Joseph is a very funny guy. Shout out to him. Yeah. He runs these great shows in the north suburbs and some toward Janesville, I think. Yeah. You said the Final Girl Bar is that Kenosha?
That one's Kenosha, yes. But I do think he's also got a Janesville spot that he does every so often.
Okay.
So he's all over the board. He's hustling. He's doing great.
That's the way to go, man. For sure. So aside from Laugh Factory and Zanies, what other stages would you like to tackle one day?
I have not done Lincoln Lodge. I would love to go there. I know. I don't. Is there an open mic there? I always forget.
Yeah, there's multiple open mics there, Friday and Saturday nights.
Okay.
They do book off of those. A lot of producers frequent those mics too, so they're in room. There's almost 100 shows being produced there right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow! Holy cow!
I run one. It's 4 Saturdays of the month at 9:30. It's premium. Jokes is the Chicago. We do that. And I am solidly booked through the end of the year, but I will keep you posted.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I do, whether it's an open mic or, hopefully eventually a show, but I do want to get on that stage and check that venue out. Um, I think, yeah, just primarily just those big stages. I've been kind of doing the little spots here and there, and I'm ready to get on a big stage. It's just a matter of meeting the right people or connecting with the right people. I've tried to submit, but I know they're getting a billion submissions, so it's difficult. So
When people and venues get a billion submissions like that, the best thing to do, and my comedy OG, my big homie Simeon Goodson told me, you gotta be there.
yeah.
You gotta get in front of them. You gotta be
Mhm.
in the room. You gotta buy a drink, get to know the bartender, shake a hand, know some names, and I get
Yeah.
that big time. Um, as far as the Lincoln Launch goes, there's opportunities not just being on those independent shows, which is awesome because they have so many independent producers, which is awesome because there's so many great like independent producers and students and artists that are producing these shows. But their main their main like flagship show is very awesome. So Fridays and Saturday nights in their big room, they'll still have a showcase of some like just you could be on it. Abby Sanchez could be on it. Shane Anthony could be on it. Mike Atcherson could be on it. It'd just be just names of badasses all over the Chicago comedy scene and folks that are dropping in, and it's always a good time. So
Very cool.
knocking on wood and stuff, we're gonna get you in the lodge for sure. It's one of those places where
Yeah.
when I walk in, aside from seeing a whole bunch of like happy audience members and drinks there are really good. Uh, you always wind up seeing a whole bunch of comedians.
I love that feeling when you walk into a place and it's just familiar faces, everybody's wanting to hug and stuff. That I tell my fiance all the time,
Yeah.
and it's like so dorky. I'm like, I felt cool tonight. I felt like a comedian, like because it's like it is awesome to
It's
just like,
real. It's
and people
real.
appreciate me. They're excited to see me, and I'm excited to see you guys. Like
Yeah.
a different type of connection you make with these people.
Friday night, I was there to headline Delightfully Unbothered, which is a Las Locas show. And as I was coming in the hallway, I see my guy Kurt Dunsing, and I opened for Kurt in Shanghai and Joe and Xiamen, like a few
Wow,
places in China. And he's here producing Comic Court and a couple other shows.
very cool.
Ran into Tito, super funny Tito, roast battle champion a couple years back. Uh, Festival King. Tito just got back from like his fourth or fifth festival this year. He's so freaking funny. And the great Amber Walker. Amber had started her stand-up career in LA about 4 or 5 years ago and came to Chicago and just been punching the lights out.
Yeah,
She hosted my last Joke Sister show and did a bang up job. Homegirl was having a fresh minty bee. Breakdown for those of you who don't know. But shout out to them. Again, just three people I know that I adore and got hugs from, and just, man, it felt good. And it's like, hey, I'm going to get on this show. Now, hey, people I know that are also on this lineup at this show. What's up? Now,
Yeah.
let me go ham.
Yeah.
I love the lodge, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check it out soon.
It's amazing. Laugh Factory gets that way too. I have stopped telling people how to get into Laugh Factory because I had somebody in LA, of all places, thought they acted like they knew me. Let's say that. Got my name from a buddy of mine out there in LA and asking me how to get on Laugh Factory stage. I'm like, you got to go do the open mic like everybody else. And then the response that she gave me was something like, I didn't like the way she asked.
Yeah.
There was a lot of broken language. Let's just say it wasn't the most professional way to ask somebody how to do something. And so as I gave them that information, I said, yeah, go get in line like everybody else. But just before I do that, you might want to come to somebody with some more King James language, some more Queen's English, more, And then she got on me like, "Oh, I've been booked from LA to Hong Kong. So then why the hell you in my inbox about Chicago? Nobody ask you all that. Get your ass in the back of the line on
Yeah.
Tuesday night. Line up like everybody else to get your 3 minutes. Get up out of here. If you were out in LA and standing on the Laugh Factory Hollywood stage or San Diego stage, why the hell you gonna come asking me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, she messed that up for everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not giving nobody no hookups.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like I try. I don't want to like ever be that comedian to anybody either. Like even, I got this little spot in Antioch, Illinois that I just started. It's a little dive bar, but even that, I'm already noticing the change in messages to me and like people like all that never talked to me all of a sudden in my inbox. And I'm like, I just don't like. I know part of it is reaching out, but I do have like such a hard time reaching out because I don't want to come off as like do me a favor. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
I know a lot of this is earned and kind of, with respect and shown your talent, so it's hard for me to even want to submit. 'Cause I'm like, I should just be going there and just get on the stage and show them. And that feels better to get booked that way too. When you go show your stuff and afterwards the producer comes up to you and talks to you after the show, like, hey, you free next month or whatever. Like that's a really good feeling too. So
Yeah, that's huge. Isn't that part of the validation that we all seek?
oh yeah, for sure.
And so you're absolutely right. When people find out that you produce something or have some pull in something, the way that they approach you can be really questionable.
Mhm.
Sometimes it can be done with a good heart and good nature, and sometimes people will come at you professional, and other times people will come at you sideways.
Yeah.
And then you always have to kind of like, wait a second, before I answer you some way I might regret, give me a moment.
I've had no sideways messages yet, but I'm like, hopefully none. But just noticing a change. I'm like, interesting.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
Just stay great. Keep doing you. It's
Yeah.
gonna be crazy, but you'll keep knowing where the line is and enforcing those boundaries with people accordingly. I bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, we're here to serve a greater good, right? It's not like, oh, laugh at my jokes for my ego.
Mhm.
It's let's have a moment of observation and laugh at this shit together and get through this shit together. Hopefully, I'll take your mind off of your troubles for 5 to 10 to 20 to 30 minutes and so
Mhm.
forth, right? So, yeah, I don't like it when people come in for selfish reasons
Yeah.
or posit it that way.
Yeah.
Um, have you been to any hell gigs yet or any divey venues or
Oh yeah. Yeah. Plenty of those. The place that I started at was a definite dive bar. Like it's be in the middle of your set and three guys going to the bathroom together, and it's like, what were you guys doing? you know.
put the rails on the table,
Uh,
sir?
yeah. Yeah.
Caring is caring.
I grew up in Fox Lake, Illinois, which for a long time held the Guinness Book World Record for the most bars per square mile. So it's all dive bars. I freaking love a shitty ass hole in the wall where the health standards are questionable. Like I know it's probably going to be a good time in that bar. So I don't mind going to those places, and it's usually a fun crowd. Again with my stand up, I think that when it's kind of a rougher crowd, I tend to do well with the rougher crowd because I don't think they expect me to come out with the jokes that I will have, typically.
That's dope. Yeah, I remember a gig I did at Club Garibaldi in Milwaukee, and it's not like the most divey place, but it's pretty divey.
Yeah.
But they were a crowd, just like you said. They weren't so rowdy for us. They were pretty wrapped for us, but you're right about the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's fun. So
Yeah. Different.
a little rock in there. Yeah.
As long as they stay quiet. Sometimes those are the bars that get real loud with people just wanting to steal the show and it's their comedy hour. But
If it's a special on PBRs, yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes they can
Yeah.
get one rowdy in there. Um, you you said you don't quite know where you want to go yet, but you're forming an idea.
I mean, like I do know that I would love for this to be something lucrative and a career. And it's, I mean, the fame of it is part of it, but for me, it's comedy. I would love for this just to be a consistent thing in my life and to be successful with it. So the dream goal is to have, I'm up at the top. But again, I would be happy where it's just something that remains in my life as whether it's a hobby or I'm making some money. Since I've been going, I'm doing better as far as booking shows and it's kind of steadily growing. So I'm like, I just want to see where it keeps going up is all I know. My trajectory keeps going up. I'm booking better places, getting connected with better people. My stand up is getting better. So I just want to see where it takes me. I do have my bachelorette party at the end of this month. I'm going to be going to Austin, Texas. So I'll be trying to get on Kill Tony if I can.
All right.
It would be cool. I've tried twice before, but no luck. So just getting in, where I can to make a name, and maybe one day I will. So
That sounds like fun. I know, Jessica Misitano.
yes.
Yeah, she's running a nice show down there in Austin.
Yeah.
Vulcan Gas.
And
Seeking. I think it's a trigger morning show of some sort, but it sounds like fun regardless. There's a few other former Chicago area comics that have just moved down there. Tom Feedback, Houston, Peyton Reddy. Other names are escaping me right now, but yeah, Austin has still definitely got it going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a fun spot. I went out there last year for about a week and a half, and totally different vibe. Just there's vape shops that I'm doing comedy in, and work gyms and stuff. So that was kind of fun. That it's all about comedy, But it's a lot of fun to try comedy in just totally different place.
Absolutely. And you mentioned having a love for SNL earlier. First of all, what do you think about what's going on now with these crazy shakeups?
With Cam getting hired, are you saying?
Is that what's going on? Did I miss that news today?
Yeah, Cam's part of the 51st season. I want to see what he can bring. I don't know if I would make that connection, but again, I only see the stand up on Kill Tony, so I haven't seen too much of him. Maybe it'll be hilarious. I'm always, no matter who it is, I'm always really hesitant of the new cast members because I grow to love the ones that have been on there for some time and then they leave and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
And then so
I feel like Kenan Thompson will never leave. We know this.
Mm-mm.
Cam, though, there's something that I can't wait for Cam's first FCC violation.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big risk for sure.
I mean, I love it. I love the guy. I love his stuff. Shout out to Jari Wright, one of his features. But Cam was just so raw and unpredictable.
Yeah.
I know that Lauren is probably looking at him and seeing some young Eddie Murphy. Cam is not Eddie fucking Murphy. Cam Patterson is Cam Patterson.
Yeah.
So to watch this wild, untamed, super funny stand-up become a sketch player is going to be
cool very
to watch. We'll see. What are any other shakeups that surprised you so far?
I am sad that Heidi Gardner is leaving because she, I think, has grown to be one of my favorites on there. I think the last couple of years, the girls have really been strong. I would say, honestly, though, this past couple years have probably been my least favorite as of recent seasons. I think once like Cecily Strong left, like Adie Bryant, like that kind of class, it's not been as strong for me. They got some good sketches and stuff, but I think the past like 2 seasons, even season 50 was decent, but I felt like it could have brought more for the anniversary, and I felt like, I don't know, they're kind of lacking. So I hope, at least for me, I hope this year that'll be a little bit better. We'll see.
I think Pete Davidson summed it up the best in a recent interview about the 50th, about how it was just kind of a room full of stars just laughing at their own jokes. It just felt very circle jerky.
Yes.
And I can understand that. I would have to agree with you. I was watching it super heavy in the 2015 through 2018 seasons, I would say. So yeah, for me, seeing Heidi gone, I'm like, she was one of the glues, like holding it together still.
Yeah.
So it was Cecily and 80 going. I I still love Sarah Sherman. I'm so grateful that she's on there, and I'm still grateful for all the myriad characters she's going to keep cooking up and whipping up and serving us.
She's at first I honestly did not like her. She's grown on me, but she's just like a you're okay. Like I guess I get it. Is how I feel. Like I guess I finally get it, but I think maybe something about her doesn't click with me. Sometimes she fits though.
So, if anybody doesn't know who we're talking about, imagine if Maria Bamford did a lot of acid and never came back down.
Yes, definitely.
And then watched a lot of Cronenberg and never stopped.
Yes.
So that's why she's a woman after my own heart. For me to hear body horror comedy and see the way that she would like visually represent her sketches and stuff, I'm like, this lady is next level with me.
Yeah. Very unique for sure. I can still I love to still appreciate someone's talent, even if it's not for me, even if their comedy's not for me. I can still view it from a third party perspective. And so it's like with her, like at first she annoyed me, but I'm like, all right, I get it. You bring your own kind of style and uniqueness to this group. So
and I mean that's where we are in 21st century SNL, I guess.
Yeah.
People are pretty well defined coming into to such a well-defined, established, you know. What was I going to say? Yeah, aside from Keenan never leaving, Bowen Yang still getting stronger and stronger after each season.
Yeah,
he's been consistently great. I got hope. I got hope for it. Do you still have an interest in perhaps writing up some of your own sketches or pursuing that still?
I don't know. I do have an interest in it. I think improv is definitely a different sort of, muscle obviously that you're using. And when I did the improv classes, I did genuinely enjoy that experience. I didn't take it too far, but I like doing that. I've always got stupid ideas in my head for what could be a sketch, but then, coming back to stand-up comedy, I just go like, I think this is what it is for me. I think I like the pressure of just myself. I just have to perform the way that I need to perform and not, with all these other people, or I have to be doing this or that. Like, and hopefully it'll get better. But I find for me, especially with stand-up, I have a really hard time thinking on my feet once a microphone's in my hand. Like in real life, I can talk and be quick-witted and say whatever, but it's starting to get better, but I just blank up there. It's like I lose that capability and I hate it. So I'm like, I don't know if I were to take improv to that level where I'm performing for people, if that would go away too, if I'd have that nervousness or not. And stand up, I can, again, just rely on myself and my jokes and my brain and deliver it how I need to.
Absolutely. Because it's not like you can rock up to an open mic and just start doing crowd work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, it's excellent. And then on top of that, I feel like that's something that kind of goes away with time too. The more you get more comfortable with your material, the more you just like can eat, sleep, breathe it. And then you just start plugging and playing it in your set list and allowing for that improvisation space, or allowing, segues, or just even if you just test out a few jokes to lead into something or to gauge the crowd, there's ways into getting more comfortable with it that don't make you have to feel so pressured or on the spot.
For sure.
But yeah, it's time. It's time and technique, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, every show I'm like, all right, I'm going to do some crowd work. I'm going to talk to someone. And then I'm like, nope. Once I'm up there. And so I'm trying to just, little engagement here and there, something different. Because I just feel like especially in the beginning, I sound so rehearsed because I just have my jokes in my brain and I'm going to say this. And if something happens, I'm just going to continue on with the joke, So I'm trying to kind of break out of that. And it's hard. It really is difficult to work that side of it.
It is. When I first started, I was in Shanghai and I was still coming off of, I was teaching, but I also was doing Toastmasters. So it was hard to make that transition from Toastmaster speaking to stand-up. It was like, whoa, hey, Erica, are you giving a speech or are you doing these jokes? So I had to learn a way to perform jokes instead of just...
Interesting.
Yeah, instead of just telling them. Definitely didn't want to make it seem canned, and definitely didn't want to start giving the grand gestures like I'm trying to go for the world series of public speaking or anything like that. But again, it's time, it's comfort, it's knowing your material.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the stars just align and you just have one of those nights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We can't call it. We can't predict it.
Yeah.
Um, let me go ahead and do your host feature headline early. Host feature headline. Are you ready?
Yes.
Eliza Schlesinger, Taylor Tomlinson,
Good one.
Jim Gaffigan.
That is pretty good and difficult. But if we're going based off comedy and not my love for the person, I think I'd have to go with Jim Gaffigan's going to be opening. He's got some solid energy. He's going to be exciting. I think Eliza is going to be a good middle as a feature because she's funny, but I think personally I like Taylor Tomlinson's stand-up a lot better. It's a lot more intelligent, and I think that I would like to have her closing out the show featuring telling some stories. Eliza's good with some quick medium jokes in there. So I think that would be my lineup.
Okay. I'm glad I didn't stump you, but I'm glad I made it a little challenging. I like that setup.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of those reasons I put Taylor in there. If I put Maria in there, you would have probably, I don't know if you would have changed it.
Probably not. I think I would have voted for Maria to just come home and hang out with me after the show.
I know, right? I just want to bake her cookies and sit down and talk.
She's so cool.
For real. She's awesome. She's so sweet too. At least I've been told. What was I gonna say? I don't want to fast forward to that final question. I need some more time to marinate on something with you. What do you think about the state of stand up as it relates to social media? Do you think it's a blessing or a curse?
For me, it's a curse because I have so much anxiety with posting on social media, and I hate social media that I hate that it's something that I should be doing and to make me better. I think it's great. I think it's also a blessing. I think if people can nail social media, good on you to have that talent. It just, I personally have so much anxiety once something is posted that I'm like, oh God, I have to delete it. Like, I can't do it. I have tried to share a joke so many times and I've never left it up for more than like 20 hours because I'm like, I can't do this. I just can't do it. So I think for social media, I don't really love the idea of doing sketches and things like that will be recorded and just maybe one day that'll different. But for me, I just like to keep I feel like I have to force myself to post and post my shows and keep up with it regularly, so again, for me personally, I would say a curse, but I think for the majority of people, I think it's a blessing. And I think it's a great tool to have that, generations before us didn't get to experience. And now you've got kind of a way to reach a lot more people, very easily. So.
Absolutely. I think it's great for the younger set. But for all the many reasons that you mentioned, you don't like it. I agree. I ditto those same reasons. It makes you feel more self-conscious than humanly possible.
Oh, I hate to think of what I'm gonna say for the flyer, being like, "Hey guys, come out to this show." Like, I'm just like, it just is so foreign to me that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to share this flyer. Just do it. And I have to like force myself to sit down. So, yeah.
Like, here's something else you guys don't care about.
Yeah.
Here's something else you'll scroll past.
Yes.
I'm only gonna make $25 in 2 drink tickets.
Yes.
And it sucks. It's almost humiliating.
Yeah.
Constantly do it and be like, oh, so where's your following? It's like, why do I need following? We should be worried about who's following me on stage. Like, that's my whole thing.
Yeah.
Some people are like, well, if you got a joke, you can just go ahead and put a joke. You put a joke up there.
Yeah.
But so many people think they're fucking comedians. You put a joke up there.
Yeah.
So it does.
But then it'll be, that one show that, my neighbor saw that I posted it. And like, oh, you posted on Facebook. So I'm like, all right, well, thank God I did that because now you're coming to the show. So, it is worth it. It's definitely, like I said, a tool to be benefited from, but just also like social media and like internet's forever. And some people really just put whatever they want out there. And that's just something else.
I feel like if you're not profiting from it somehow, you should take it down. Take it down. Sometimes there's no good reason to leave things up. And I think hopefully we're past the era of just content for content's sake.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, things like Skippity Toilet still exist, so I don't know if we're quite past.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. My fiance works at a middle school, and like the things that she'll come home and say that are like popular and what's being said, and like I'm just like, what is happening? Like, what is seriously happening?
And the last time I taught kids was like 7 years ago. No, sorry, not 7, 5 years ago. And I'm still behind on whatever the heck's new now. I don't know. Those kids are in college now. Janae's got some interesting choices. I feel 20 years too old to understand any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm only 33, but even just, a 5-year difference of someone younger than me, I'm like, you were so much younger than me. And I think I'm in my 20s still, but I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not. And I'm nowhere close to my teens anymore. Seeing these kids, like it's crazy how different I see myself from people younger than me now.
Having the world be plugged up like an impacted colon for 5 years kind of stumped people's emotional growth.
Oh, 1,000%.
Kind of stumped a lot of younger folks' maturity too. And so we're having to deal worldwide with that. Let's be honest about the human tapestry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And that's another one of those reasons why social media winds up feeling like a blessing or a curse. It's like, how do we communicate anymore? We still we're living in a world now where how many people come to a stand-up show wanting to talk to you?
Yeah.
While you're on stage and they're in the back, like they just flipped to Comedy Central.
Yeah.
We live in a very weird, hyper-connected, isolated, lonely-ass world.
Yeah. Social media definitely has its benefits, but overall, social media is as a thing, I feel like it's what has ruined the world and what has just. I think without social media, we would be entirely different people, in a good way.
How do we talk to each other anymore? Do people just do people randomly say hi to you because you're a stand-up, or do people randomly say hi to you because they had seen you at a show?
Back in the day, I've had people recognize me. I guess I do sometimes in McHenry. Yeah, people will say hi if, they've seen me at the Vixen but really, I don't encounter that too much yet, so.
Well, that's cool. That's good. I had somebody DM me that they wanted me to do a promo for their podcast, but I didn't know anything about the podcast, and I was trying to ask them for more details, and they didn't really know what they wanted either. They just wanted to say hi, and they thought I was really pretty, and I was like, wait, what? Is this?
All right. Oh, yeah.
Like, are you giving me a job offer, or are you trying to holler? I don't understand. Either way, you're in San Francisco, sir. Like, I don't get it.
And you're like, either way, here's my boobs.
That'll be 24 Bitcoin. I'm befuddled. So aside from holding a mic in my hand these days, I don't know how else to communicate with certain people.
Yeah. It's different.
It's just weird. So let's see. What shows do you have coming up? What do you want to plug?
So this weekend, Friday night, Amy Simon's amazingly run mic, The Gauntlet, at O'Donnell's in Chicago. I'm going to be guest judging there. So doing a spot there. I'm very excited to be back there. And then Saturday is going to be my own show it's called the Hollywood Roadhouse in Antioch, Illinois. The show itself is called Ha-Ha's at Hollywood, and this is going to be show number 2 for me. So the first one I was on, this one we got David Vox Mullen as our headliner. We got Reese Lene as our host. I'm really excited. Yeah, some great features. So I won't be on the second show, but I will be there producing it. So that is coming up. And then after that, I've got a show in Johnsburg in October. And we're going to be having the next Ha-Ha's at Hollywood October 18th as well. So I do have the information on my Instagram with the next shows, and I'm always constantly, posting what I can. Not constantly, if I were just talking crap about that, but I do post, trust me. But I've got the information for the shows on my page.
And what is your IG?
My Instagram is at Big Al the Comedian.
At Big Al the Comedian. Awesome sauce. Let me make sure I get that up there for folks to see. And make sure you give Big Al a follow because, of course, followers are currency in the comedy world. And make sure that you keep track so you can come support Big Al shows and see when Big Al is popping up in Chicago.
Yeah, free shows in Antioch. No ticket cost. So come enjoy some drinks and a free comedy show.
It's going to be a good one. I just ran into Vox a couple weeks ago at it was a fan convention, fan con out here, I think.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I just done. And Reese, the homie, I just ran into Reese at our Laugh and Enjoy comedy brunch out here at West Chicago. Beautiful new club that just opened up out here, and they do book from the open mics. Wednesday open mics. The good homie Just Jeff hosts those where comics get up to 10 minutes. Some don't need that 10 minutes, mind you, but you can have a gracious up to 10 minutes. Trust, if you start bombing and going flat, they will play the music on that ass. But yeah, Laugh and Enjoy in West Chicago has been one of my hangout spots. They are building, and listen, they're not paying me to do this. They may be, handing me boneless wings occasionally. Laugh and Enjoy West Hollywood is a place to go. All right. For great comedy, great food, great brunch. The brunch menu is impeccable. Sunday comedy brunch. Let them cook. Hosted by the homie Just Jeff. Reese Lene was just out there. Glad Reese is on that show. She's a firecracker.
Love her. Yeah, we just went to St. Louis together for my first road gig, and that was a hell of a time with her. And Jeff was actually at my first show or my second show that I ever did with Jason Seiler out at the law office, and I got to meet him there, and he's super cool dude. So yeah, I like him a lot. He's funny.
He sure is a sweetheart. And we do have a show together this Saturday. It ain't my fault at the Bit Theater. Don't forget, first Saturdays of the month at the Bit Theater in Aurora. This month we are doing our SNF crossover with our homies of the Still Not Friday production crew. So TJ Remick, Dave Sitko, Matt Drefke, Mike Wiley, Ted Wilson, Zoe Dodson, and doing a nice feature spot the night before her comedy album debut taping at the Comedy Vault. The one and only KB Marion.
Very nice.
Will be dropping a hot 20 on us.
That's a great lineup.
It is a great lineup. It's going to be a lot of fun. Y'all should come through. Tell some people. We're at the old Comedy Shrine spot out near Fox Valley Mall in Aurora. And I'm not going to stop telling you all about this because Thursday, September 18th, I'm featuring for Marina Franklin at the Comedy Plex in Oak Park.
Ooh.
Somebody to tell somebody. Marina Franklin is a near 30-year veteran of comedy. You've seen her in her own special single black female. You've seen her on the Conan show. You've seen her on the Chappelle show. Baby, you've seen her in Trainwreck as the part of the black couple with Keith Robinson. They see John Cena, Amy Schumer in the movie theater and all that. That's my big sis, Marina. So I'm so proud and excited to be featuring for her on the 18th of September. Big Al, it has been a pleasure, and I'm so grateful to have had this time to chat with you, catch up with you, get to know you. Tell us, who's your comedy bestie?
That would have to be the one and only incredible Amy Simon. I absolutely love that girl with all my heart, and she has been a huge part of my life since we met each other with comedy and just personal life. I feel she is definitely a best friend to me, and she's actually going to be officiating my wedding come November. So,
what?
Yeah. So I made her a little stand-up flyer for the day and everything, and I asked her, and so definitely Amy Simon. Big shout out. Check out her mic. throw down at the Gauntlet competition mic, and I will be there again Friday.
Amy be helping people get on. And as you see, she is a great comedy friend and a great friend, period. So shout out to Amy for being there for Big Al and being there for the comedy scene in Chicagoland and abroad. Appreciate you. And thank you so much for your time today, Big Al. Blessings upon blessings to you. And I know you're going to keep going far. And if you need anything, holla at your girl.
Seriously, thank you so much for having me on. I genuinely appreciate your time tonight and having me on the show. It was a great time and good time to finally talk to you and get to know you a little bit here. So I feel like I'll be happy to see you when I run into you at Mike. I won't be as intimidated.
And you can get in my DMs anytime, child.
All right.
You know how to talk to each other.
Well, now you're going to get a late night message tonight. So.
Hey. Y'all, this has been another great episode of Your Comedy Bestie with Erica Switzer. Please join us back here next Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central. You know what it is. Until then, be safe. It's free to be kind, unless you got to stomp a hole in somebody. But just be nice. Be good. Be safe. We love you. Bye.